I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
Hey, what's poppin', my homies? What's good? Cory Sandhagen taking on Yadong. That's the main event on this UFC card. As always, my homies, hope you guys are doing well, doing blessed. I'm gonna post my bets on the screen. We're also gonna take a look at the MoneyCity plays. Now, guys, a lot of MoneyCity comments, it kinda got dusted. You know what I'm saying? Hamzat missed weight, and a lot of MoneyCity comments just pure dusted. So there wasn't too many plays where we can say that's money, right? But there was a few, so shout out to you guys. Now Cory Sandhagen taking on Yadong. Let's try to find those plays. That's money, you know what I'm saying? Let's find them. Let's go. Moving into the first matchup on this card, we've got Nikolas Motta taking on VanCamp. Now guys, originally I was leaning towards Nikolas Motta with this matchup, but after going back and rewatching tape on Nikolas Motta, the UFC debut against Jim Miller, man, he got calf kicked many times. So I kind of think that VanCamp should take a look at that, try to kick the opponent, and if he's not kicking the opponent, look to grapple, look to take Nikolas Motta to the mat. But yeah, looking at Nikolas Motta, you know, he's trying to counter punch the opponent, and if you kind of blitz in, you know, that's where he's looking to do his damage. That's where he's looking to counter punch. And you know, you kind of look at what happened to VanCamp in his UFC debut, you know, got completely dusted by Andre-Barriault. So you put those two things together, you see the sharp counter punching of Nikolas Motta, and you see VanCamp get completely dusted. You kind of lean to making the prediction that Nikolas Motta is going to win the fight. But like I said, if VanCamp can land the calf kick or even take Motta to the mat, that's really where he's going to, you know, maybe find an upset in this matchup, and I'm actually going to go with that. I'm going to take VanCamp. You know, the bookies got this one close to 70% for Nikolas Motta, and I kind of think that, like I said, if VanCamp does get the takedown or does kick the calf, I kind of see it being, you know, closer to a 50-50 matchup. So yeah, I'm going to take the big underdog, VanCamp. Moving into a very decent matchup between Tony Gravely taking on Javid Basharat. And Javid Basharat's brother fought on the Contender last night and was very, very good. Maybe even better than Javid Basharat. And if anyone saw that matchup last night where Javid's brother fought, both of these guys are very similar. You know, the brothers fight in a very similar way. Now looking at Javid's UFC debut against Trevin Jones, you know, just composed, good kicker. He's got good cardio. You know, to get Trevin Jones in your UFC debut, that's not an easy debut. And Javid Basharat kind of made it seem that way. Now looking at the opponent, Tony Gravely, this guy's a very good wrestler. His calf kick is very good. And he's coming off a nice win against, who was it? Johnny Munoz. If you look at the matchup before Johnny Munoz, you know, against Simon Oliveira, this was a good performance. You know, a good wrestling performance. So I'm kind of assuming that if Tony Gravely wants to beat the Snow Leopard Javid Basharat, if he wants to get a win with this matchup, you probably have to use your wrestling. And that wasn't really the case against Johnny Munoz. But Johnny Munoz is not on the same level as Javid Basharat, at least when it comes to like composure, kicking, striking. And that's the same thing with Simon Oliveira, Nate Maness, Anthony Burchak. You know, all of these guys that Tony Gravely has fought against, they're not as composed as Javid Basharat. So like I said, for me, I think if Tony Gravely does win this matchup, he's probably going to take the opponent to the mat, probably successful with the wrestling. But for me, guys, after seeing the performance of Javid's brother last night, I've got to pick Javid Basharat to win this matchup. Is Tony Gravely a good opponent? Is Tony Gravely a difficult fight? Absolutely. But like I said, Javid Basharat, very composed, good kicking, good cardio. I think he's going to probably keep the matchup on the feet and look to win with the striking. So for me, I'm going to side with Javid Basharat to win this matchup. Gravely's a good opponent though. Moving into a matchup between Mariya Agapova taking on Gillian Robertson. I kind of think this one's pretty much a 50-50 matchup. And the reason why it's going to be a 50-50 matchup, guys, if you look at Mariya Agapova against Marina Moroz, takedown defense, absolutely terrible. Not only was her takedown defense really bad, her get-up game equally as bad. You know, couldn't stop the takedown, couldn't get off the fence, and couldn't get back to the feet. Then you look at the cardio, you know what I'm saying? The cardio, when she was brought into a grappling contest, She couldn't compete there. Then you even think back to against Shana Dobson when she completely gassed in that fight. You know, massive favourite. You can't really trust Mariya Agapova. Now on the flip side, Gillian Robertson, the Savage. This girl's all about the jiu-jitsu, right? Her striking's not too good. And that's why you can't really rely on Gillian too much, right? She's a pure grappler. So that's really what you're going to be betting with this matchup. You know, if Gillian doesn't get it to the mat, can she really win this matchup? If Mariya Agapova gets taken to the mat, can she get back to the feet? She probably gets subbed. And that's why I'm not going to bet this one. You know, I don't really trust Mariya Agapova. I don't really trust the Savage. But if you put the gun to my head and I had to make a pick, I guess I'd side with Mariya Agapova. You know, but she probably gets taken to the mat. Who knows? So yeah, guys, I'll side with Mariya Agapova. Hopefully she can keep the fight standing. Hopefully she can avoid the grappling game plan of Gillian Robertson. But, you know, don't put any of your bankroll on this matchup. Moving into a matchup that I'm pretty confident in predicting. This one's going to be Trey Ogden versus Daniel Zellhuber. Now, the reason why I'm confident that Daniel Zellhuber should win this matchup, the reason why I'm confident, if you look at Trey Ogden in his UFC debut, man got calf kicked by Jordan Levitt like 50 times. Yeah, and that's no exaggeration. Like 50 times. You know, if man like Jordan Levitt is able to land all of those calf kicks, I think Daniel Zellhuber, who's practically the Ryan Garcia of the mixed martial arts world, I do believe that Zellhuber should be able to tee off on Trey Ogden. Jabs, 1-2s, teeps, head kicks, whatever it is. I think Daniel Zellhuber should dominate this matchup. Now, the only way I can really see Trey Ogden being able to prove me wrong, right? The only way that Trey Ogden really proves me wrong with this matchup is just taking Daniel Zellhuber to the mat. You know, if Trey Ogden can do some of that, you know, just grapple the opponent, bring Daniel Zellhuber into a jiu-jitsu contest. If he can do that, all the credit. But yeah, in my opinion, guys, I think Daniel Zellhuber is going to pretty much dominate this matchup. If he doesn't get taken to the mat, it's going to be a one-sided striking contest where Daniel Zellhuber's in control. So that's going to be my prediction. I'm going to side with Daniel Zellhuber. Like I said, Jordan Levitt able to land like 50 calf kicks. No bueno. My pick, Daniel Zellhuber. Let's go. Moving into a matchup between Loma Lookboonmee taking on Denise Gomes. Now this one's going to be a pretty decent matchup because both of these girls are Muay Thai practitioners. You look at Denise Gomes on the Contender Series recently, you know, she was able to get a contract. Didn't get a stoppage, but still got a contract to the UFC. And that's mainly because Denise Gomes has pretty good Muay Thai. And she's got a lot of power too, so that might be a problem for Loma. But on the flip side, Loma Lookboonmee, very good Muay Thai. And she's been doing that since like 7 years old. You know, so she's got a lot of experience smacking you with kicks, elbows, knees. Yeah, for me on this one, guys, I'm going to side with Loma Lookboonmee. I think her Muay Thai is probably a little bit better than Denise Gomes. You know, Lupita Godinez was able to beat Loma, but if you look at that matchup, it had some wrestling. Is Denise Gomes going to wrestle Loma Lookboonmee? Probably not. You know, this one's probably going to be a striking matchup, and I'm going to side with who I believe is the better Muay Thai striker, and that's going to be Loma. So yeah, that's going to be my pick. Moving into a matchup that's pretty difficult to predict because Aspen Ladd, you know, this girl's not too good. And Sarah McMann, she is like 41, 42 years old. So if you put money on Sarah McMann, just know you're betting on a 42-year-old. If you put money on Aspen Ladd, oh my goodness, you just got to pray. Now the area that Aspen Ladd's not too good, it's going to be the striking, right? Her striking, it's not dangerous. It's not violent. It's just kind of wasted motion. And wasted motion was the term that the commentary used in her matchup against Raquel Pennington. You know, her striking it's not good. And that's mainly because she's a grappler. She's a wrestler. Now, guys, this is going to be the problem, though. Sarah McMann is also a wrestler. So, stylistically, wrestler versus wrestler, grappler versus grappler, who are you going to pick? We do have to acknowledge, though, that most of the time when it's wrestler versus wrestler, the fight can play out on the feet. And like I say, Aspen Ladd's not really a good striker. Sarah McMann's 42. It's a pick'em. Now, the one area that I kind of do want to make a positive on Aspen Ladd is against Raquel Pennington. At least she was fighting at a higher pace. At least she was really trying to give a good effort in that matchup in the striking. Guys, if you put a gun to my head and I had to pick this fight, I'm going to pick the 27-year-old over the 42-year-old. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to pick Aspen Ladd. I don't feel good about the pick. You know what I'm saying? It's a dodgy matchup. And another thing, guys, Aspen Ladd kind of likes to beat up old women. You know, Lena Landsberg, Tonya Evinger. Those are both wins for Aspen Ladd. And both of those opponents were pretty old. Sarah McMann's pretty old. I'm going to take Aspen Ladd to win this matchup. Moving into a matchup between Trevin Giles taking on Lewis Cosce. Now guys, Trevin Giles is getting a massive step down in competition, right? You look at some of the names he's competed against. James Krause, Bevan Lewis, Roman Dolidze, Dracus Duplessis, Michael Morales. Now he's getting a matchup against Lewis Cosce. So yeah, big step down in competition for Trevin Giles. And the main reason why he's getting a step down in competition, if you look at Trevin Giles in his last two matchups, completely dusted. You know, Dracus Duplessis, Shadow City. Michael Morales, Shadow City. Now guys, looking at Lewis Cosce in his UFC debut, he was kind of close to beating Sasha Palatnikov. But if you notice with Lewis Cosce, it's kind of round one. You know, all of the matchups he had prior to the UFC, it's round one stoppages. You know, then you try to replicate that in your UFC debut. It doesn't happen round one. You know, you get fatigued. And then you get basically dusted by Sasha Palatnikov. So obviously Lewis Cosce needs to manage his cardio, manage the energy, and not try to just look for round one stoppages. So for me guys, I'm going to side with the guy who I believe is the better fighter, and that's going to be Trevin Giles. But if Lewis Cosce connects like early, I really wouldn't be shocked to see like Cosce get that round one stoppage. But if the round one stoppage doesn't come, you know what I'm saying, Trevin Giles should just pick apart Lewis Cosce. And even Trevin Giles gets pretty tired later in the fight, but has more experience than Lewis Cosce, and that should show. So yeah, for me, I'm going to side with Trevin Giles. If he gets dusted by Lewis Cosce, you probably get cut. Moving into a matchup between Damon Jackson taking on Pat Sabatini. Now guys, stylistically, grappler versus grappler. Really good matchup. Damon Jackson probably has better jiu-jitsu than Pat Sabatini, but I would say Pat Sabatini probably has better wrestling than Damon Jackson. And that's not to say that Pat Sabatini has bad BJJ. You know, his jiu-jitsu is pretty good. And that's not to say that Damon Jackson isn't a good wrestler. His wrestling's pretty good. Stylistically, grappler versus grappler. Now here's also what's interesting with this matchup. Damon Jackson has really good cardio, and so does Pat Sabatini. So this one, man, it's a good matchup. And my guy Damon Jackson kind of looks like Megamind. You know, Octagon name is the Leech. Just change that. Change that to Megamind. You know, like I said, guys, this one stylistically is a good matchup. Both are good wrestlers. Both have good jiu-jitsu. Both have good cardio. And that's kind of how they both win their matchups. Yeah, for me, I'm going to side with Pat Sabatini in a very, very good grappling matchup. If Damon Jackson can pull off a submission, or even show to maybe have better cardio, which I don't think he does. If Damon Jackson can get it done, you know, all the credit. But yeah, I'm going to side with Pat Sabatini to slightly be better than Damon Jackson. You know, Pat Sabatini's like a Nurmagomedov, you know what I'm saying? That's my pick. Alright, my homies, you know what time it is. If you waited to smoke with me, amen. If you've been smoking this whole time, double amen. If you're not a smoker but you enjoyed the smoke breaks, that's always been a triple amen. Let's go. Now guys, I want to ask you on this smoke break, what do you make of what happened on UFC 279? You know, Khamzat misses weight. You've got to change the main event. You've got to change the co-main. Lee wanted to show off the blue suit. Didn't get to do that. Then he got robbed. You know, Lee got robbed. He got robbed at the press conference, then he got robbed in the octagon. My goodness. So yeah guys, let me know what you think about that whole situation. I've seen a few people saying like the UFC planned that. You know what I'm saying? They planned it. The only way I really see the UFC doing something like that, like planning it, say the pay-per-view wasn't really selling, then I can kind of see why they would do a plot twist. Right? And look at the way Khamzat gets off the scale, all smirking and that. Like, it's not that much. What do you mean it's not that much? But yeah, be sure to drop down all of your MoneyCity comments. I want to see the money. You know what I'm saying? Show me the money. Alright, let's jump into breaking down the fights on the main card. Let's go. Alright, moving into a matchup between Anthony Hernandez taking on Andre-Barriault. I kind of think this matchup's nearly a mirror match. You know, Anthony Hernandez has the style of trying to break you. You know, high pressure. And on the flip side, Andre-Barriault also has the style of just trying to break you. You know, high pressure, stay in your face. You know, Andre's striking's not really good. It's not super good, but the pressure he puts on you, that's where he's trying to win. And it's kind of the same thing with Anthony Hernandez, but Hernandez is more likely to, you know, try to get the takedown, try to grapple the opponent. And if you go look at the UFC matchups that Andre-Barriault has had, he has kind of been grappled a few times, like against Andrew Sanchez, Jun Park. You know, Andre-Barriault's not the best wrestler, he's not the best striker, but he's kind of decent. For me though, guys, like I said, this is pretty much a mirror matchup. If Hernandez can get Andre to the mat, then maybe he's going to win the fight. If Andre stops those takedowns, right, then it's a matchup on the feet, and I kind of like Andre to win that matchup. So I'm going to side with Andre plus 150 as the underdog to win this matchup. Moving into a matchup between Tanner Boser taking on Rodrigo Nascimento. Guys, big experience difference in this matchup. Tanner Boser has like 29 fights, Rodrigo Nascimento 9. It's a big experience difference. Now the style of Tanner Boser and the style of Rodrigo Nascimento, big difference. You know, Tanner Boser's more of a karate practitioner, whereas Rodrigo Nascimento, he's more about jiu-jitsu. So it's probably going to come down to, you know, who's going to implement their style. Is it going to be the karate practitioner being able to fight that kickboxing matchup? Or is it going to be Rodrigo Nascimento being able to get Tanner Boser to the mat, which Latifi did? Latifi got him to the mat. But then again, Latifi is like a really, really good wrestler who's had a lot of experience at the highest level. Whereas Rodrigo Nascimento, like I said, only 9 fights. You know, Tanner Boser, light movement, quick movement, good kicks. But if you can take him out of that kickboxing matchup, you've got a good chance. Now guys, Rodrigo Nascimento, just to put into words like how much of a disadvantage I do believe he's going to be at in a kickboxing matchup. Rodrigo Nascimento was losing to Alan Bordeaux. If you're losing to Alan Bordeaux, massive red flag. Now he did beat Alan Bordeaux, but the fight didn't start that way. You know what I'm saying? And I think if he can't get a takedown against Boser, probably going to lose this fight. So yeah, this one is going to be karate or jiu-jitsu. I'm going to side with Tanner Boser, the karate practitioner, to win this matchup. If Rodrigo Nascimento can get it to the mat, you know what I'm saying, all the credit. But yeah, I'll side with Tanner Boser. Moving into a matchup between Alan Amedovski taking on Joseph Pyfer. Now guys, this is probably my most confident prediction on this whole card. And I'm not going to say that it's my most confident prediction because Joe Pyfer's going to be like the next champion. I'm not making that type of prediction. But it's going to be my most confident prediction because I think Alan Amedovski, you know, this guy's going to get his jaw broken. You know, if you look at Joe Pyfer on the Contender, the way he's boxing on the back foot. The boxing on the back foot, it looked good. It looked clean. So if Joe Pyfer can box like that, and Amedovski's at like a height disadvantage, a reach disadvantage, and he keeps getting knocked out by everyone. I'm putting those two together. And I kind of see Joe Pyfer getting like a round 1 stoppage, maybe a round 2 stoppage if Amedovski can, you know, really show up. And this UFC debut for Joe Pyfer, you know, it's an easy debut. You know, earlier on we spoke about Javid Basharat. He got given Trevin Jones in his UFC debut. Trevin Jones is a difficult debut. Alan Amedovski, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, Joe Pyfer round 1, that should be the case. That's going to be my pick. Alright guys, moving into a matchup between Fili taking on Bill Algeo. Guys, I think this is another matchup where it's nearly a mirror match. You know, the style of Fili and the style of Bill Algeo, they're similar. Both of these guys are really, really good kickers. I'd kind of lean towards Bill Algeo having the better ground game, you know, the better jiu-jitsu, but on the feet, you know, good kickboxers, similar style. Man, Fili kind of got dusted by Joe Anderson Brito. You know, round 1, real quick. get dusted. And Bill Algeo's kind of been on a good run, you know. He did beat Joe Anderson Brito. And he beat Herbert Burns, 2 Brazilians. I think this one's pretty difficult to predict, you know. Andre Fili, tricky kickboxer. Bill Algeo also has the tricks. He's got the kicks. Personally, I wouldn't lay any of your bankroll on this matchup because it's a good matchup. Gun to my head, I'm going to side with Andre Touchy Fili to win this matchup. You know, maybe I'm siding with Andre Fili purely based on the experience, but yeah, it's a good matchup. And, you know, don't bet this one. It's too good. And another matchup on this card where I think it's too good to bet. You know, Chidi Njokuani taking on Gregory Rodriguez. It's too good. Do not bet this matchup. And I know a lot of people right now are thinking, yeah, I'm going to bet the matchup. I know it's good. I'm still going to bet it. And you guys are degenerates. I'm a degenerate too. We're all degenerates, man. Come on. But yeah, this co-main event, Chidi Njokuani is a very, very good striker. The kicking is very good. The boxing is very good. Even the elbows up close. You see the elbow up close against Dusko. Now guys, Gregory Rodriguez on the flip side. This guy's very good. You know, the jiu-jitsu, the knockout power, the kickboxing. Gregory Rodriguez, very, very good. And even if you look at the betting line, you know, Chidi minus 110, Gregory minus 110. That tells you right there. This is a good co-main event. And when you've got two guys that are too good inside the octagon and you can't really see too much of a lean either side, you sit back, you don't bet it. Now guys, speaking about how the co-main event may play out, if Gregory Rodriguez can get Chidi to the mat, he's probably going to find a submission. And that's not what Dusko Todorovic done. You know, he got Gregory to the mat, but he got Chidi to the mat and couldn't find a sub. But Gregory Rodriguez is much better than Dusko Todorovic. Now guys, you look at Gregory against Julian Marquez, the striking was good, the boxing is clean. But here's going to be the problem, Julian Marquez, Chidi Njokuani, real difference in the striking, right? Real difference. Chidi's really good. And you know, Julian Marquez maybe has like a lot of strength, a lot of power, but the technicality, you know what I'm saying? Chidi's much, much better than Julian Marquez. So let's say that Gregory Rodriguez doesn't get a takedown and you've got a striking matchup. What's going to happen? You know what I'm saying? Chidi's good enough. He might starch him. I kind of think the co-main event's too good. You've probably got to sit back. Don't bet this one. I'm not going to bet this one. But I'm going to take Chidi Njokuani. And the main reason why I'm going to take Chidi, I just think his striking's good. If you avoid the mat, you know, it's bang bang. Moving into the main event between Cory Sandhagen taking on Song Yadong. Guys, this main event, very, very good main event. Cory Sandhagen, one of the best strikers at 135. Song Yadong, also one of the best strikers at 135. This main event, it's a must-see main event. Now, for Cory Sandhagen, he's going to have the movement, right? He's very, very good at moving. It's almost like Dominic Cruz. Right, we've known that for a few years. We've compared the style and the footwork of Cory to Dominic Cruz. And you know, Cory can really set you up. And you see that against Frankie Edgar. You know, dusted. You see that against Marlon Moraes. Dusted. Then you kind of think about Song Yadong against Kyler Phillips. Now what's Kyler Phillips really good at doing is the footwork. It's the trickery. It's the way he's trying to set you up. And he nearly done it. He nearly done it to Song Yadong. And you're also thinking about all of the really, really good competition Cory Sandhagen has already competed against. You know, another advantage that Cory Sandhagen has with this matchup, he's already done the 5-round main events. Now guys, the flip side, Song Yadong, this guy's a really, really good Sanda practitioner. His striking's really good. You know, Song maybe isn't moving in the same type of way as Cory Sandhagen, maybe hasn't got the same type of output as Cory, but look at how quick Song Yadong is. You know, the hands are quick. The hands are very, very quick. And if you're not paying attention, you know what I'm saying, Shadow City. Now guys, if Song is going to win this matchup, you've really got to be smart, right? If you look at what TJ Dillashaw done, he landed calf kicks. He was landing a lot of calf kicks. If you go take a look at what Peter Yan done, you know, he was working the body real early. And both of those fighters was able to basically slow Cory in the later rounds. So I kind of think Song Yadong would be smart to calf kick Cory or work the body, because if you don't look to do that early in the fight with Cory Sandhagen, if you slow down later in the fight, you know, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And one of the best ways, like I say, you're going to give yourself a good chance later in the fight, if Cory's movement is compromised, that's going to go your way later in the fight. Or if you work the body the same way Peter Yan worked the body, you know, that's going to slow him down later in the fight. So I kind of think that Cory Sandhagen later in the fight, he's going to be a good bet. You know, he's probably going to take over later, especially if Song Yadong doesn't work the calf, doesn't work the body early in the fight. But for me, guys, my prediction, I think Song Yadong is smart enough to know, you know, 25 minutes, I'm going to fight smart. Work the calf kick, work the body, put money in the bank early in the fight. I think he's smart enough to do that. I think he's going to do that. I'm taking Song Yadong in his first UFC main event. Alright guys, be sure to drop down your main event, your co-main event, your underdogs, your MoneyCity plays. Drop all of that. And as always, my homies, keep your eyes to the sky and never glued to your shoes. Mac Miller. Alright, peace.